God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life.
Yeah, but why is it that, if they're scared of allowing you to talk about Christianity, but Islam is protected? Why is there a level of fear of criticizing Islam and Prophet Muhammad, but none about criticizing Jesus and Christianity?
Well, at times I feel like it's an overreaction to colonialism. Obviously, colonialism has occurred, and Christian nations did colonize, and there was a lot of evil that went on. But that does not change the fact that there have been thousands of Christian missionaries who loved Christ and served people and gave out of their backside and their head to help people get well. I have a younger brother who's a transplant surgeon, and he spent a summer in Nepal helping people. He wasn't there to rip people off or to bring the American flag. He was there to introduce people to Christ and to love people as best he could. But there's been quite a reaction to colonization, and I think it's hopefully run its course. For instance, in this vein, Stephen Carter is an African-American professor at Yale Law School. And Stephen Carter does a great job asking, when you criticize Christians, I hope you know who you're criticizing. The demographic with the largest numbers of followers of Christ in the world is women of color. And the demographic with the largest number of followers of Christ, in it percentage-wise, in the United States, is African-American women. So be very careful when you start criticizing Christians. And yet so many professors and so much thinking in the press in our country has basically said, oh, Christianity is a white Western man's religion. A young lady said that to me at the University of South Carolina. I was just about to answer her. A tall black gentleman steps out of the crowd and says, "Excuse me, I'm a grad student here and I'm from Ethiopia. Our Ethiopian Christian church is far older than any Christian church here in the United States or in any part of Western Europe. And this idea that Christianity is a white Western religion is totally false." You could have heard a pin drop. But that is the antithesis of what a lot of anthropology and humanities professors are teaching. That, oh no, Christianity is a white male religion, which is baloney. You know the demographic with the largest number of atheists? Mm-hmm. White men, white Western men.
Wow. So atheists, large demo is white male.
Yep.
Christians is African-American women.
Correct. In the United States.
That is wild. That is wild to have that breakdown. So, okay. So, you said everywhere it's growing. In the West, it's not, right? There's something that's going on in the West that's different than everybody else. If there's anywhere where you can show the proof that it's worked and it's produced the best society that you can raise kids, save, grow, do your thing, build a good family, prosperity, you name it, it's America. Why, even though we have a case study to show how the right values and principles made America the greatest nation in the world, why not go back and, focus on teaching those values and principles to kids?
That's a great question. That's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to God for you, brother. You're a successful businessman. You understand the principles of doing business well and putting together companies well, and you are committed to Christ. Well, we need more of you who are in the marketplace living out what it means to be a follower of Christ in the practical, nitty-gritty details of everyday life. And this whole idea that if you're really committed to Christ, you're going to be a minister or a priest or a monk or a nun is baloney. It's not biblical. In Colossians 3:23, Paul writes, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as serving the Lord rather than people." And that's what you as a Christian businessman are trying to do. That's what I as a pastor and apologist on college campuses are trying to do. We're using whatever personality and gifts that God has given us to glorify Him by pointing people to Him and by living out a life of Christ-honoring integrity, compassion, hard work, and using the brains that God has given us to do the best we can.
But why is it here? Why is it when we're looking at here, America specifically, where we have the proof that it's worked, why is it becoming popular to demonize it and step away from it? Why are more institutions more comfortable celebrating and dedicating an entire month to LGBTQ Pride Month in the month of June, but we're not willing to dedicate an entire month to the role God and faith has played in America. Why are we giving that much attention? The other day we pulled up the number of days we have that we dedicate to LGBTQ. There's roughly 145 days a year that are dedicated to that. If you didn't know, we even have a Gay Uncle Day in America. I don't know if you knew that, or it's very specific for you to know that because it's important facts, life-changing type of facts to know there's Gay Uncle Day. When is the Gay Uncle Day? Right there, August 14th. It's actually coming up, in the next 5 weeks, Rob. To all the gay uncles out there, we're going to celebrate you on August 14th. Why do we have all of these days, okay? Why are we so comfortable with politicians being like, yeah, you know what? Put another one here, Pansexual Pride Day. Let's do World AIDS Day, December 1st. Let's do a November 28th, Transgender Day of Remembrance. November 13th through the 19th, let's do Trans Awareness Week. November 8th, let's do the intersex, a day of remembrance. May 19th, yeah, let's do the gender pride, day. All of these days, right? And then faith, no, we can't mix them up because that's you're forcing it down people's throat. Don't do it. You don't want to. What makes you separation from church and state? Don't put God. Don't bring faith. We got to kind of do your own thing. You're a little bit too much. You're too religious for me. Why has that been unattractive in America?
I think there are a lot of different reasons. But why don't we have an adultery day? Why don't we have a fornication day? Why don't we have a pornography day? Why don't we have a bestiality day? Why don't we have whatever sexual temptation you want to put out there day? I mean, you're right. It's a sad state of affairs. Now, what I am very grateful for is we don't get into gay bashing. Why? Because the Bible teaches that the value of a human being has nothing to do with their sexual practice. It has to do with the fact that we all are created in the image of God. And I have to apologize to my gay friends for the gay bashing that has gone on in our culture. So we despise that, and we stand for the dignity and value of all human beings. But good gracious, I hate the part of me that is sinful. I affirm my value as a human being, created in the image of God, but I hate the part of me that violates God's moral laws. And when I disagree with someone about human sexuality and how they practice it, it doesn't mean that I'm minimizing the person. No, I probably love the person more because I know that my feet are of clay, their feet are of clay, and self-righteousness stinks. When you read the Gospels, you'll notice how Jesus attacked self-righteousness because it's a religious pride. It's religious arrogance. So we have to be very, very careful that we teach people that all human beings have equal value because we're all created in the image of God. The ground at the level of the cross of Jesus Christ is level. We all need His grace. We all need His forgiveness. And just because my sin doesn't happen to be the practice of homosexual sex, just because my sin has more to do with lust and that type of heterosexual sin, doesn't make me inferior or superior to anybody else. We all are in desperate need of Jesus Christ, His grace, His forgiveness, His love, and His power to change. So it's a complex situation. There's no question about it, no simple answers, but there's so many different ingredients that go into this. It's incredible. And I'm still convinced that Satan is having a heyday in our culture, just ripping people away from Christ and ripping them away from the scriptures and having them buy into moral relativism, secularism. I mean, if you just think about the results of living a life without God, it's meaningless. That's why Albert Camus, the great French atheistic existentialist philosopher, said the only question modern man must answer is why not commit suicide? I mean, if your birth is an accident and your death is an accident, then the only thing that lies between these two accidents is another accident, your life. So why continue to suck wind? Why not just end it all? And his point was, if you don't think about that, you're being intellectually dishonest. And the good news of Jesus Christ is, no, your birth is not an accident, and your death is not an accident, and there's eternal life out there. So you better handle life very wisely and very carefully, and you better use the talents God has blessed you with to make this world more like heaven will be. And that's really understanding and coming to grips with the purpose of life.
Yeah. So would you, I know you said gay bashing, so define gay bashing. When you say, I'm also not a fan of gay bashing. This is when we do what?
When we minimize a human being because of their sexual practice. We make jokes about them. We start getting even in some cases, violent, and that violence has been deplorable at times. when we denigrate a human being created in the image of God just because they're gay or bisexual or whatever. No, all human beings have value. It comes from God. It doesn't come from me. It doesn't have anything to do with their sexual practice. But we all are perverts. I am a pervert. I have perverted the beautiful gift of God, life that God has given me. And that's what sin is. And therefore, we all need God's help to become the beautiful people that He created us to be initially. Right. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, that whoever believes in Him should not perish but have eternal life.